Hi, my name's Maureen. This is a Flow and Restore yoga class. It's a combination of vinyasa flow with restorative yoga and an emphasis on the restorative yoga. The idea of combining these two types of yoga is to allow a little release for the restlessness of the body to let go, and also to work through just how the mind spins. And the idea is to get that out so that you can really more freely release and relax into these beautiful restorative poses. Holding the class outside, you do need quite a number of props, so it's up to you whether you want to carry all that out, but I do suggest getting out, enjoying this weather while it's still great. The props that you'll need for today are 4 blankets or towels, beach towels. I'm assuming people don't have a bolster. If you have a bolster, you're going to use your bolster instead of your rolled up blankets. And lots of pillows, 2, 3, 4. Better to have more on hand. Another option is to have one of those foam rollers. Right. I think that's it. I think that's all you need to know. Take a comfortable seated position on your mat. Have a little bit of gentle movement in the body before we come into stillness. Rocking on your sit bones is just a good way to give yourself a little bit of a broader base. Just take your ribs side to side. Do whatever feels good for your head and neck. It even helps to add tension by lifting, squeezing, holding the shoulders up toward the ears, and then just exhaling and releasing them. Doing that several times, and really nice release if you tend to hold stress and have tight shoulders and muscles. Do it again. Inhale, add tension, squeeze the muscles, and then exhale, release. Maybe taking the ears toward the shoulders. And then when you're ready, to find that nice broad base to enable your spine to lift up, I suggest you just take your hands on either side of your thighs, and you're going to internally rotate the thigh, lift it, and then place it back. Same thing on the other side. Shift your weight, roll the thigh in, back, and apart. That gives you that nice broad base, and then just imagine you are trying to lift your spine out of that steady, stable base. If you find that you're already curling over, rounding shoulders because of tight muscles, then you might sit on some of the blankets that we're setting aside for restorative. That lifts the hips, ankles are on the mat. And you can always pause the video. That's the great thing about this. And then get the props that you need. I do recommend you have all the props ready because we will transition from vinyasa flow and move right into our restoratives. All right. Taking a few moments to center. In the centering, I invite you to draw your attention inward. So lower your gaze, close your eyes. Take a nice big exaggerated deep breath in, lift up through the collarbones, ribs expand, and a nice big audible exaggerated exhale out. Just doing that a couple of times. Have a sense that you're clearing inside the body and clearing the area immediately outside the body. And then let that go. Return to your own normal rhythm of breath. And then thinking about your awareness. Let your awareness come a little closer to your body. The good thing about doing a practice outside is the light, even that reflection on closed eyelids, the feeling of the breeze on your skin. It really tunes you into your senses, and senses are a doorway to bringing your awareness into a little bit heightened level. Holding your body in that larger sphere of awareness, telescope your awareness a little bit narrower now to the breath. Greet your breath. We don't think of it as separate from ourselves, but by virtue of our inattention or not noticing it, it almost is as though it's separate. So you're greeting it, you're bringing it back in. Let's integrate the breath. And for pranayama today, it's very simple, just placing one hand on your heart and the other hand on top in a very light touch. And I just want you to see if you can feel your heartbeat, feel your chest, the light rise and fall. And just let this few breath cycles with our hands at our heart, really tuning in, sensing and feeling the breath in the body. Let it slow you down. Let it help you drop in. And then I invite you to just let your hands be about an inch away from your chest. The hands are lightly resting on top of one on top of the other. And the inside hand is an inch away from your chest. Just see what you feel. See what you notice. Your hand might be warm. You may or may not feel a sense of connection, attachment, energy flow between hands and heart. And then let that go and bring your hands to meet at your heart in Anjali Mudra. Thumbs rest at your sternum. I invite you to set an intention for this practice of yoga. And hold that intention at the front of our hearts as we practice. Take a big, deep, exaggerated breath in. And an even longer, slower, deeper, smoother breath out. Release your hands to your thighs. Blink your eyes open. Let's practice. Arms out to the side, palms face forward. Just moving side to side. Really gentle movement. Checking in with the spine. Maybe you need to lift up onto sit bones and readjust. And when you're ready, plant the sit bones. Draw your belly in and inhale, arms out wide and up high. Let this warm up your body. We'll do 3 of these sun breaths. Look up. When you're ready to exhale, the palms turn down. And you slowly bring it right back down to your center. Inhale. Your arms match the length of your inhale. Chin lifts at the top of the inhale. And exhale. Palms turn away. And your hands meet your hips at the end of your exhale. Last one. Pull your shoulder blades together. Lift up tall through the spine. Ribs expand with the inhale. Lift up, look up, and exhale. Bring it down. When you finish that exhale, let the arms go. Roll your shoulders up and back. And then let's do some side bends. Plant sit bones into the ground. Pull the core in. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, right hand lowers to the mat. And side bend to the right. And hang out here for just a moment. Soften through this upper arm and upper shoulder. Keep this chest open rather than any curling forward. And then inhale, hands meet up overhead. Exhale, left hand touches the mat. Side bend to the left and stay here. Really plant your anchor, your right hip, your right sit bone down. And let gravity help you for a moment, staying here, maybe rolling your wrists. And then inhale, lift up nice and tall. Let's move into our twist to the right. Hands descend. Take time for another breath in. Lift up tall through the spine and exhale, twist a little deeper. Pull your belly in, lift your heart up and twist. And breathe. And then release, come forward. Inhale, lift up long and tall. Exhale to the left. Find your place for your arms. Let the arms be straight. Inhale, lift up through the spine. And exhale, twist a little deeper. Hold the belly in, lift the heart up, and turn a little deeper as you breathe and twist. And release, and let it go, and come on to all fours. Just warming the body up. When you get into table, have a little fun. Shake it out, swing your hips. Just do whatever your body is calling for. Maybe come into child. Come into your own version of poses that you already know. Take as long as you like in that free flow form. And then we'll meet and get in alignment. Hands under shoulders or slightly forward of them. Hands spread out wide like a starfish. Knees under hips, toes tucked. And let's move through cat-cow. Inhale, lift your hips, lower your belly, and push your heart forward. This is your cow back. When you're ready to exhale, you reverse that. Point the tailbone down, lift the side ribs, lift the space between the shoulder blades up, and pull your chin to your chest, cat back. When you need an inhale, switch the flow. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lift the back body. One more time on your own. Let your breath lead, your rhythm and your pace and your timing. And exhale to cat. Feel that in your neck, feel it in your spine, feel it in your pelvis. And release back to your neutral table. We're just going to flow here gently from table to child's pose to cobra. So inhale here in table pose, no action. Exhale, you can uncurl your toes as you bring your hips to your heels and release your forehead down to the mat. Keeping your knees parallel for table pose. And then inhale, back up to table. Keep the hips moving forward and then down for your cobra. Let your back warm up gently. If you're ready for a deep back bend, then you'll know. Inhale to table. Exhale, hips to heels for child's pose. Lengthen your spine, forehead touches. Inhale to table. And exhale, hips lower for your cobra. Inhale, lift back up to table. If you have blocks, you use them. I have to tell you, you need a chair. It's a video, so you can pause it. You'll need a chair for our restorative poses, and blocks are also helpful. Step your left foot forward first, and walk that back knee back to open up this hip flexion. Lower the hips down towards the earth. Keep your belly active, fold in, and lift up through the arms and the torso. Look up, lengthen, stretch, maybe send your arms out wide and let the knees down behind your back, and then release and fold them back. Sweep the arms out and up, look up, and exhale, lower. Let's twist. So remove the blocks, bring your right hand down to the ground, left hand to your hip, pull your right ribs down, roll the left ribs up, and lift your left arm up. If you want to add to this, lift the back leg. Keep twisting, keep looking, pull the ribs towards that front thin thigh, and then untwist. Back knee lowers, left knee meets back knee. You can work with just your hands on the mat on spider fingertips, or you can have the blocks to help lift you and give you a little bit of support. Here we are with a low lunge. I invite you to walk your back knee back. That's going to help open up the hips, lower the weight of the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, activate the core, and inhale, lift up for Anjaneyasana. Lift your gaze, look up, maybe roll your wrists, send the arms out wide, and invite them to meet behind your back, and interlace hands and pull them back to open up the shoulders. Keep lowering the hips, keep your core active, let the arms sweep out, meet up overhead, look up, lengthen, and exhale, lower. Let's twist. Bring that left hand in front of that right big toe, right hand to hip. Keep your ribs close to this front thin thigh, and twist, twist, twist. Then lift your right arm. You can add to this by lifting that back knee off the ground. Keep breathing. Look up if it's okay with your head and neck. And then exhale, lower, untwist, and step back, downward facing dog. Give your body a little time to warm up here. Bend knees deeply, bend elbows, sway your hips. Check in with your head and neck. Shake your head, yes, and let it be heavy. Shake your head, no. And when you're ready, you can walk the dog, one heel down, opposite knee bends. And when you're ready, walk your hands to your feet. Find yourself in a forward fold, deeply bend your knees. Wake your hips up, just give them a little shake. Shake your shoulders, shake your head and neck. Let everything be heavy. Loosen it up, and then hands come to hips, elbows point up, activate your core as you press down through your feet and lift your torso. Arms out wide. Up high, look up, hands touch. Pull it in and let it go. Let's move through a couple vinyasas. The blocks are helpful for the lunges. Use them if you have them, and if not, then use spider fingertips or support yourself with a substitute. Find mountain pose. Your feet are parallel like the number 11 or like the equal sign. You can move your feet before you come into stillness, and then eventually drop your heels into the earth, firm up your thighs, pull your core in, point the tailbone down, open across the heart, palms face forward. Mountain pose. Feel your strength, feel the alignment. Inhale, arms out and up. Lengthen, look up. Turn your palms away, hinge at the hips and bow. You can add a little bend to knees. Let your body warm up. So lift up through the hips and point the crown of the head down for Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Step the right foot back, straight leg lunge. Lower the hips, lift the heart, and then step back, downward facing dog. Come a little deeper into this pose. Arms frame ears, gaze is back at your toes. Hands are spread out wide. Push your shoulders away from the mat. Lift your hips up and push the weight of the hips back towards the heels. On your next inhale, shift forward into plank. And feel free to readjust your feet. Squeeze everything. Activate. Hug muscle to the bone. Pull your core to your spine. Broad, strong shoulders. And you decide, do you want the knees to touch the ground or go down in full plank? But exhale and keep elbows close to ribs. And release. And press down through the lower half of the body to rise up into baby cobra. Point your elbows back, pull your shoulder blades down. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes. Inhale up to table. And exhale, lift up, downward facing dog. Stay here. Deepen the pose. Pull your ribs towards your thighs. Add length to the back legs as heels move down toward the earth. Keep breathing. On an inhale, right leg rises along behind you. Stretch it out. Exhale, bend the knee. Pull it forward. Step it forward. Lower the hips. Feet light on fingertips. And press off back foot to join front foot in Uttanasana. Point the crown of the head down. You can still bend knees, but still lift those hips up. And now draw the belly to the spine. Inhale, arms out wide and up high. Urdhva, look up at your thumbs for a baby back leg. Hands touch. Exhale, release, and let it go. Let's go again. Inhale, arms out and up. Look up. Exhale, swan dive. Arms come down, bow, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. Pull shoulder blades together. Pull your belly up to your spine. Exhale, Uttanasana. Step the left foot back. Straight leg lunge. Lower the hips. You're welcome to lower the back knee. Left hand touches the ground as we twist. And look up. Exhale, release the twist. Back knee rises. Step back. Downward facing dog and breathe. On an inhale, shift forward to plank. Squeeze everything. Try to have a line of energy from your heels up through the crown of your head. And exhale, lower. Rise right up into your back bend. Perhaps you can lengthen your elbows. It's time to lift your chin for full cobra. Exhale, lower, tuck your toes, and you can press up through table or press up through plank to meet in downward facing dog. And stay here and breathe. Come a little deeper in this pose. Push your heart towards your thighs. Spread your hands out wide. Lower your heels. Slow your heart rate. On your next inhale, left leg rises long behind you. Lift it. Stretch it. Exhale, bend the knee. Pull it to your ribs. Step it forward. Lower the hips. Lift the heart. Lower the back knee. Right hand touches the ground. Twist to the left. You can lift that back knee. Just keep twisting. Keep breathing. Release. And lift the back knee if it's not already lifted. Press off the back foot to join the front foot. You're in Uttanasana, forward fold. Lift up through the hips, point the crown of the head down. Pull the belly in as you inhale. And reverse swan dive, arms out wide. Rise up where you took a look up, hands touch. Exhale into your heart and let it go. We got to move on to the restorative because time is a ticking. Let's come down to a seated pose. And we're just going to bring the soles of the feet together for a hip opening. Let the effort be in the soles of the corners of the balls of the feet and the corners of the heels. Pull the toes apart. Your hands can touch your ankles or they can press the ground behind you for a forward fold. Your knees are just going out to wherever your knees allow. Inhale, lift up through the heart. Exhale, push your heart forward. Try to keep the spine in the neck in alignment with the spine. And go down as far as you can and breathe there. And then lift up and release. All right, we're gonna get going. Let's get into the very first pose. You'll need all 4 blankets. I want you to, or maybe you'll need 3. Yeah. 3 is good. I want you to kind of stair step them. So this is my longest blanket. So you want it narrow and long. And then the next one will be a little bit shorter. And the next one even a little shorter than that. And I invite you to bring your blocks down or any substitute. It could be full toilet paper roll. They're sitting together so that the tops of we're going to lay flat on this on our belly. And knees will touch the mat. Hips, torso will be supported. And the tops of your feet, the top ankles will be supported. If you're looking at that thinking it's not so soft, you could also use this roller. Or you could put a folded gold blanket on top of those blocks. So you come into table to get into the first restorative pose. And the idea is that knees are on the ground, but your torso up from hip points up. So just trying to experiment and adjust as needed. And turn your head whichever way suits you. Try to keep the spine long, keep the neck long rather than bringing your chin towards your shoulder. And the support for your ankle is touching the tops of your ankle. Your arms are framing your support, like cactus arms or goddess arms. And you stay here and you breathe. And I want you to have a sense of grounding in this pose. Let your body be supported by these props. Let the weight of your body just be received. The only part of your body touching the mat is your knees. And you can turn your head at any time you like. You might change it back and forth several times. You're just trying to adjust and readjust until you find a position of ease. Take one more breath in this pose. And when you've finished your exhale, I'm going to ask you to bring your hands, frame your heart, and you might come, if you can push your support for your ankles away, and you press up into table, and you come into a seated pose. Another option, if you don't have a roller, is to just roll up a towel and put it on top of blocks. If you don't have blocks, then just let your your support be the rolled towel. All right, this next one is just a very relaxed, this next one is a very relaxed chest opener. You may need a pillow. Not sure if it's still recording. I think it is. You may need an extra pillow for support for the back, or 2 or 3. So have all those things nearby so that you can experiment. This support now is going underneath your knees. I'm putting a rolled towel on top of 2 blocks. And you're just going to have to guesstimate. Now, what's touching the ground are your heels and your sit bones. The low back is supported by these stacked blankets, and your upper chest and neck are lifted. Some people might find they need an extra support for their head. So you can have that available, or you can just check it out and see. This is just right for me. I hold this low back area so I feel that I can use a little bit more support. So I'm bringing my stacked blankets a little closer to my low back. The knees are just right. Remember, restorative yoga, you want to adjust and readjust again until you find that it's 100% delicious. So letting all of these nooks and crannies and curves and weight, all of it, let it be supported. If placing your hands off to the side, your arms off to the side with palms facing up, isn't right, there's some tension, then you can place a pillow or blanket underneath the arms. And this is passive chest opener. So your body, your whole front body is open. So encourage that low belly breathing. On an inhale, I want you to bring it down into that low belly if you can. Slow your momentum down. And just reside here in this exquisite stillness. Acknowledge the noises that are passing through. Just noise. Keep inviting your attention to come back into your body. closer. When distractions arise, just acknowledge them, name them, label them, and then set them down. For the last minute of this pose, I invite you to place your hands on your low belly and then just let the palms receive your breath. Come out of this pose, release your hands, bend your knees, and roll to one side. And we'll ask you to move your props off to the side, and this is where you need the chair. Should have mentioned that. Any chair will do. A coffee table will do. If you don't have that, you could always do this is legs up the chair. And I do invite you to allow the blanket to hang off of the edge of the seat. Everything needs to be moved to the side. Don't let them go too far. You'll need them for the next. To come into this pose, it's helpful to have your side hip close to the seat of the chair, and then you just sort of come onto elbows, come onto your back, and lift your calves up. You might want to use one of these roll blankets as support underneath your head or neck. You're looking for a 90-degree bend in the extraneous sounds. You decide what you'd like to do with your hands. They can be off to the side, palms facing up, or you could try and place your arms in goddess arms. So take your arms to a T and then bend at the elbows. Think of this as cactus arms, goalpost arms, or goddess arms. And settle into this pose. This really helps to release tension. It really helps to release stress. Physiology of it is that you are reversing the flow of lymph. You're giving your lymphatic system a break and your adrenals a break. The adrenals are at the top of the kidneys. The lymph nodes are in multiple places in the body. And they work for you 24/7 to fend off invaders, really, from outside and inside. And so to give them a break is really a big boost to your immune system. Anytime your shoulders have enough, you can change your arm position. Make this practice your own. Just take one more breath cycle in this pose. Enjoy it. See if you can place your awareness on the breath. Follow it. From the beginning of the inhale, all the way through to the exhale. To transition out of this pose, I invite you to bring the knees closer to the chest and wrap your arms around your shins. And you can just stay right here, pull the knees in close, or you could rock side to side. Eventually, I'll ask you to roll to one side and press yourself up to come into the next pose, which is supportive child's pose. You'll need to remove the chair and bring those stacked blankets and pillows back. If you have the bolster, you could frame your body over the bolster. Otherwise, you're going to bring those 3 blankets to an even height. I'm thinking, about 4 to 6 inches raised up, and maybe more if you have any tightness in the low back or any tightness in the hips. You want to find ease in this rather than a great deal of challenge. So you could add more pillows. Whatever amount of props you need. Spread your knees out and walk the knees up until you can't go up any further, until the props meet the insides of your thighs. And then lift up and lift them. Hands frame the support, and you just lower your torso down. We are trying to keep hips on heels because that gives your low back a release. If there's a lot of tightness in hamstrings, then I would invite you to roll up the blanket because you really want the benefit of the release of the low back muscles rather than having to hold hips lifted. So that's just an offering. Lay the body down. You want the head supported, not hanging off. So in which case you would need another pillow. Or you could add block or two. Just adjust and readjust. Substitute. Pause the video until you find you're in just the right position. There's so many beautiful benefits to child's pose and the supported child's pose. With the head and neck, you can turn your head multiple times throughout the duration of this pose. Just
check in, see what works best, what gives you the most ease and most support. Take one more breath in this pose. And when you finish it, I invite you to place your hands, frame your heart, to lift your torso. And we're just shifting now into the final pose of Shavasana. If there's any one of these props that you'd like to keep, feel free to do so. Or you could remove all props. The rolled blanket underneath your knees is just a really nice support for the low back. And also check in with your head and neck. If you prefer a pillow or a towel to support your head and neck or the curve of your neck, add that. For the last pose of Shavasana, I invite you to walk your heels out to opposite corners of the mat and let the feet just naturally flop open. That is passive opening for your hips. I invite you to place maybe a blanket on top or a jacket. You want to keep warm. Socks. Pause the video. Get what you need. You can always just use any of these props for warmth. And settle in. Surrender. Let it be. stay here for several minutes, and I'll gently call you back to attention. Ever so gently, take a deeper breath. Think of the inhale as nourishing and the exhale as cleansing. And as you continue to deepen your breath, let the breath reanimate your senses as you tune in and add small movements, fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. When you're ready, invite your body to move in whatever way feels good. Eventually, press your blankets away, bend your knees, and roll to one side and press yourself up. Keep your attention inward, keep your gaze lowered. Come into a comfortable seated position. When you're settled, bring your hands to meet at your heart and Anjali Mudra. Bow your head. Bow to yourself. Bow to your heart. Call to mind your intention. Remember it. You can't wish for something you don't already know, so you are recalling it. Let's seal the practice with a single chant of Om. I hope you'll join me. I hope you'll lift your voice. There's so much that can be released by emitting sound. So I hope you feel free enough to join in. It is the Chant of Ohm. It sounds, the letters are as they sound, O-M, sometimes described as sounding like A-U-M. But when we do this chant together, we connect. And it is symbolic of our connection to the universe and our connection to one another. So when you're ready, exhale fully. And then inhale and chant. Lift your thumbs up to touch right between the forehead at the center, or between the eyebrows or the center of the forehead. And let's offer each other the Sanskrit greeting of Namaste, acknowledging the light that we hold in common. Namaste. Thank you for practicing. I hope this was restorative. This is a good practice to do around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is typical low blood sugar levels. So yeah, I hope it was helpful. See you next week.